Welcome to this conversation, and thank you for being with us. You have a really important message for the nation. I'm going to start with a statement that a revered figure in First Amendment scholarship made recently. This is Donald Downs, emeritus professor at the University of Wisconsin. And what he said was that we need universities to light the way, not to contribute to the darkness. You showed enormous courage and adherence to principle in doing something that must have been very painful, which is resigning from the board of the University of Pennsylvania and resigning from being an overseer of the law school after so many years of service and so much commitment. And I thought maybe we should start right there. What is it that spurred you to take such an important step? And tell us a little bit about your longstanding relationship with the University of Pennsylvania.
First of all, thank you for having me. I enjoyed deeply my relationship with the university. I particularly enjoyed the many able and good, thoughtful people that I came in contact with over the years. So unfortunately, the situation with Amy Wax came up, and it seemed to me that obviously we're all aware of what's gone on in the world at large and the problems we have with not only what people call political correctness, but what I call extraordinary repression of expression. And Amy made a simple statement or wrote in an article, we can come to that later on, and she was basically hounded. And so I felt that I really couldn't be part of this, because what is a university for? A university is what your quote suggests. It is a place where people come and explore, knowledge, debate ideas. They don't have to agree. The point is not agreeing. The point is to get diverse opinions out there, and in some sort of, Hegelian point counterpoint, let something emerge from it that might be better. And so, that just offended me deeply. And I was also deeply offended on a visceral level at the abuse of Amy by her colleagues. But for 33 of her colleagues to step forward and write a letter of condemnation, which was not particularly well-reasoned or thoughtful, why they felt the need to jump on her like that is shocking. The lack of collegiality, which again is something that one would hope exists in a university, was disheartening. I mean, I call it the Gang of 33. But the fact of the matter is that these people couldn't, talk to her individually, respond in some sort of a thoughtful way, that they had to respond with this kind of a blanket condemnation.
This must be very painful for you. I think of your actual family tradition at the law school, and you showed the courage and adherence to principle to walk away from that. And how many of us could do that? One of the things I want to talk with you about is how you threw down the gauntlet to the nation, to tens of thousands of trustees, asking them, where is that line in the sand that can't be crossed? And clearly, you drew a line in the sand, and Penn crossed it.
Yeah.
And you walked.
Well, I appreciate the kind words. I frankly didn't feel particularly courageous. I felt it was something that I simply had to do. And what I just don't understand is why people felt this need to go after her that way. She's been at the law school for a long time. She's a respected scholar. She's argued 15 times before the United States Supreme Court, okay? She won the university's 2015 Lindback Award, which is voted on by students as one of the superior teachers. And for these manufactured claims of racism and injustice occurring in her classroom is complete, bunk. And I just couldn't, bear it.
What's happened? How do we get to a place where a brilliant MD, JD is essentially being left at the mercy of an angry mob rather than being given the opportunity to engage in debate and discussion. I can think of the principles of Socrates, please cure me of my ignorance, show me that I'm wrong. And my guess is, the little that I know Amy, she would have been quite happy to have somebody show her that she was wrong.
I relish, I respect, I admire people with whom I don't agree. What I want from those with whom I don't agree is a good discussion from which I might learn something. And one say, how does this happen? Penn's a great institution. There are a lot of great people there working hard to do great things, whether it's in science or whatever the endeavor might be. But the fact of the matter is, there is a pervasive cloud now at the university. I have received emails and phone calls from professors at the law school who say, thank God for you. Hopefully the cloud will lift.
I guess what we're feeling is such a disquieting phenomenon. I noticed that Amy Wax said this in a Wall Street Journal editorial, that shunning, labeling, ostracism are the response rather than having a civil argument. It brings us back to this issue of institutional leadership. This is a rather sorry situation, and if we could run the film back, what would it look like?
I think you run the film back and you start with Robert Zimmer. As far as I'm concerned, Robert Zimmer for president of whatever else he wants to be president of, because I admire deeply what he's done at Chicago, and he's made it clear. It's a little bit like raising your children. You set some rules in place and you try to make them fair and sensible. And in a rule-based society, people know in advance what the rules are, and then they follow the rules. And he simply said, to paraphrase, if you're looking here for comfort, don't come. If you're a snowflake, don't come. If you're here and you can't take it, leave. I think that's about all you've got to do.
Well, I think back to what Mitch Daniels said in a wonderful commencement speech. Don't try to stop the conversation by saying, I'm offended. Come back with better facts and better arguments.
Well, Amy Wax has said, she said it publicly, she said it to me, if I'm wrong about the performance of these students, I'll be delighted. Show me that I'm wrong. The fact that nobody is prepared to show you that they're wrong makes you think, what's the conclusion? She's probably right. Now, there's no gloating about the fact that she's right, if she's right. The question is, what do you do? What's it take for universities to turn this around? Okay, well, people don't take stands. I guess I took a principled stand. I didn't think I was doing anything that was particularly important other than what I thought I had to do. We need clear leadership from the administration of these universities. And the leadership is not about cheerleading. The leadership is not about fundraising, okay? The leadership has to be about the essential mission of the university. As for what trustees can do, I think, number one, they have to take themselves seriously. It's very difficult to get this across. You're not there to have a good time with your friends. You're there, you have a sacred mission. The universities of America are awesome. They've done so much to make us a special culture and society. We have so many well-educated people. They're there to make sure that that great history is perpetuated for, centuries to come. And that's what they've got to take seriously.
On behalf of the American Council of Trustees and Alumni, I thank you. You're being very modest about leadership and about courage, but both of those things are eminently true. And my great hope is that this will be the start of more and more of a ripple through the nation that will draw people back to these principles that we have to defend. So thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you very much. A pleasure to be here.